Hello, dear friends. I'm going to do a tribute to Chris Hallett this weekend, recording this video and posting it on my Facebook and YouTube channel. This is obviously a conversation on Facebook, Messenger. Okay. I tried copy and pasting the whole, from it would have been almost a year's worth of conversations in 2020 that I started having with him. And I was only able to get a couple of the things to take hold of what I'd sent to him and, things that he also sent back to me. All right. So Chris is one of many mentors that I've had through the years, law mentors. I started really going online quite a bit in 2010 when the police disabled me, actually November 24th, 2010. And I've been fighting this aspect of injustice ever since. False arrests, false imprisonments, malicious prosecution. But I think this is really important because, when Chris was murdered, there was some who were trying to paint him in a way that I knew is not true, that I know is not true. As alleged sovereign citizen and engaged with the Q movement. I can tell you that the couple 3 years I studied under Chris Hallett with Kirk's Law Corner, 3 nights a week in E-Clause, there was never, so there was never I guess if anybody really was interested in seeing my history of communicating with Chris and his responses, let's see. If people wanted to really dive in to anything that I had communicated with him, they can certainly I sent him some videos. I was putting out my videos just because I wanted more eyes on what was happening to me. There's strength in numbers. So I've tried to gather some support through the years from my law mentors. And there's been a dozen of different entities that I studied under, and I take what you can and leave the rest. I learned something of value from all of them. But what does he say? Like you, I'm doing what I do. In my case, it's more work. But, make sure to be mindful of what size paper. Yeah, this is where I was getting hung up on the remonstrance, because he was very specific in the way that it needed to be formatted. And, I actually have the same type of problems when I'm trying to format my court documents. They have specific, alleged rules, and I've tried to learn and follow all of them. As a, whatever you want to call me, self-represented, although that's not correct, using the correct words, pro se, sui juris. Okay, so I think it's more important what Chris was saying back to me. I hope these documents provide the guidance you were asking for. Yep. Here's the Hobbs Act. Okay, so he sent me some very significant, important links. And that meant the world to me, because I really looked up to Chris and all of my law mentors. And I'm grateful for each and every one of them that I learned from. And jackwagons moving forward. But one of the things that gets me, is that uh, is that he engaged with me, and that, again, it just meant the world to me that he considered me to be a friend and worthy of communicating with. um, I think, but any intelligent person can read through and discern uh, accurately that Chris was never involved in the Q movement or the alleged sovereign citizen movement. They Chris and Kirk from Kirk's Law Corner, they beat home this treatise on arrests and false imprisonments. And, I've attempted to absorb everything that they taught and everything that I learned. These that he sent me. Now, this is very, very interesting to me because it looks like this was forwarded. I don't know. Check the dates, unless it just came through late. But and of course, this ended our conversations. But I was really reaching out to him for guidance on the remonstrance process. Okay, because I truly still believe that the petitioning the government for redress of grievances by bringing it to the legislatures in the form of a remonstrance, oral, delivered, served to the full. My goal is the Connecticut General Assembly. And as I learned this from Chris and Kirk's Law Corner and others, I started sending my Connecticut legislatures, State Rep Michelle Cook and State Rep Jay Case and others, videos on, hey, look, here's the evidence that the word remonstrance is in the state Connecticut Constitution. And here is what that means and how we need to move forward on having people be able to uphold their, function as, their civic responsibilities to petition the government by going to the legislature and saying, hey, we got a problem here. So, but I sent an email to State Rep Jay Case, because for a long time, State Rep Michelle Crook, I call her, she was finally ousted, thank goodness. But Jay Case was new kid on the block, and I said, hey, let's see if we can't get through to him on the right to petition the government for redress of grievances by filing or serving a formal remonstrance to the General Assembly. And I sent him an email or two, and I called. This was in actually December of 2019. I called the Connecticut General Assembly to follow up. Did you get my emails? And how can I get in touch with Jay Case? And, the next thing I know, Jay Case called. I never even spoke to him, but he was so concerned about my emails that he called the DEMIS, Connecticut Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services, the Torrington branch, who had never even been a client of DEMIS at all my entire life. And he called the director, and the director bypassed the protocol and put out a wellness check. And they came up to the condo that I was living with at the time in Torrington with my daughter right before Christmas. And these two clowns come up, and I know the clowns. And that wasn't the first wellness check that began in 2019 by DEMIS. Several more attempts by DEMIS and the same clowns, by order of police this time, not by state reps. But friends, they're gonna continue to hear from me. I am going to serve a formal remonstrance to the General Assembly in Connecticut. I'm going to continue to work with the reps, the highest levels in the General Assembly, to ensure that my right to be heard at the legislature is preserved. And hopefully that will pave the way for others' rights to be heard at the legislature also to, be brought forward per the Connecticut Constitution and according to the parliamentary rules of procedure, whichever ones the state of Connecticut uses. We're going to get down to the bottom of it. But this is getting long, and I want to just give a shout out, rest in peace to Chris Hallett, and a thank you. I want everybody to know that his work was not in vain. These petitions of remonstrances are the correct way to petition the government for redress of grievances. I'm told for all these years I got to sue my government. Well, this is a part of it. So, love you all.